Hello and welcome. This is Natasha Edwina. Welcome to the Oasis of Awareness, where we dive deep into systemic change through positivity, playfulness, pleasure, and partnership. And I am here today with Kiyoshi, one of my special guests. I'm super excited that you came all the way here from the tropics, Kiyoshi.
Yes.
And here we are on Zoom, everybody's favorite meeting space lately. And we're here to talk a little bit about self-expression. And you and I have been having this conversation for a little while of getting together and actually doing this. And here we are, finally. This is great.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And it's
Yeah.
really a sincere honor. So thanks again,
Oh,
Natasha.
thank you. And so for all of you out there who are tuning in, Kiyoshi is he's a lot of things. I know him as a MC, the life of the dance party. I think I saw you most recently at Daybreaker. That was a really good time. You did a great job. And rap coach, you opened up for Snoop last spring, was it? Recently or last
Um,
fall? Fall.
yeah, he was supposed to be there. Unfortunately, he canceled. So Snoop wasn't
Okay.
there, but Akon was
You
there.
were
Yeah, but
you
that
were
was LA.
supposed
LA.
up
Yeah,
for Snoop. Darn it.
for
Okay, so you
sure I
opened up
was
for
supposed to.
Akon. Yeah, and I think the first time that I ever got exposed to your music and what you do, which was so impressive to me, was through a Facebook Live. And so here we are in this world now where everyone has to gather through Facebook Live, but we have a mutual friend, Holly, who was doing an event called Don't Stress Express a few years back. And it
Right,
was
right.
a music arts event at Eve and Encinitas. And I used to go every week, but I actually had a little bit of a sore throat then and I couldn't go. And I was so sad. And so I tuned in Facebook Live where she was still broadcasting live. And there you were doing this little freestyle. And I was like, who's this guy? He's really talented. Like, this is super. And that was my first exposure to you, and then sort of bumping into you in different events or whatever. So, and then finding out that we both have roots to Michigan. So that's kind of cool.
Right, right. Big ups
Yeah.
to
So,
Michigan.
yeah. So tell us a little bit of your story, how you got into music, like what your musical career has been like, what it's done for you. Because I think what I especially love about your music is it's very conscious. Like, I love rhythm, I love hip hop. I don't love some of the misogyny and some of the lyrics, and that's not exclusive to hip hop. That's exclusive to all kinds of music in the 80s and 90s. But I love that you bring so much positivity and so much healing and empowerment in your music, but it's still fun. It's still, you can still dance to it. It's still a lot of rhythm. So tell me how that all started with you.
Right, right. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. So growing up, my father was a music teacher. He still currently is. He actually retired a couple of years ago, but he loves music so much that he can't stop working. So he's still currently a music teacher. So yeah, I grew up with music in the household since I was in the womb, listening to probably my dad's band play when I was in my mom's stomach. And so anyway, I came out the womb. My mom said I was really a vibrant kid as far as music. When music would play, out of all the kids, I really was like into it. So I
Mm-hmm.
grew up listening to my dad's jazz bands and marching bands because he was the band director and the main music, one of the prominent, well-known music teachers in our local San Diego or Saginaw community in Michigan.
Okay, big difference.
Saginaw near Flint. Yeah, big difference. Saginaw, San Diego. Yeah, threw me off. So used to saying Saginaw. I grew up in Saginaw, Michigan until the age of 11. When I was 8 years old, my father put me on guitar, so that really introduced me to really getting accustomed to, composing, making up songs and learning, rhythm and melody and song structure. And also grew up in the church, so it was really rooted in Christianity and, inspiration. So I started out rapping when I was in high school. I actually was also writing poetry at the time when I was 14 years old in English class. Sometimes I'll want to just like free write. And I had all this creative, these creative juices flowing in me. Like I would watch poets on TV, and then I would also read poetry when I was in high school. And then somehow it struck a nerve to just want to myself write, express myself through the art form of poetry. So I started doing that, and during my classes. Then I started doing it at home. I made my first rap when I was 15. So I started interchangeably doing poetry and hip hop, in my later teen years. Started then after that, during that time in high school, I was also rapping in church, competing in poetry slams in high school. Ended up making one of the teams, the main Ann Arbor team in Michigan, and then also the Ypsilanti Slam team when I was in like 17 and 19. So competed on a national level. And then when I got into college, I joined a poetry society, and we were competing on a collegiate level, poetry slams and poetry invitationals. Also doing a lot of open mics and talent shows when I was in college. And then after that, took a little rapping more seriously, and didn't really play much guitar, but really like focused in on creating albums. And then I moved to San Diego in 2011, and it's expanded from there. It's been a beautiful process. Now I rap coach, using rapping as a tool for personal self-development, and help others to really nurture and expand their creativity through poetry, spoken word, rapping, etc. And that's my main business, in addition to performing with my Kiyoshi music band. And it's super fun. It's been an awesome journey thus far in my life. And yeah, I'm just blessed to be here.
Thank you. That was quite a succinct recap for everything that I know that you've been into and you've done. I've seen the donut video. And I
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
really appreciated that. I thought that was very cute and nice to see the evolution of the man, Kiyoshi.
Right. Thank you. Thank you
um,
so much. Appreciate it.
yeah. And so, and I think, I don't know if I told you this or not when we were talking before, but I've had this secret desire most of my life to have singing lessons because, first of all, I can't sing very well at all or rap, but my vocal talents are more with my hypnosis voice. But I would love to take lessons just to be able to project, just to learn how to project and to put myself out there. We're talking about fifth chakra and expression, and I know just in a lot of the readings that I've had with spiritual consultants, they've said, for me, this life is all about your fifth chakra, and
Oh, wow.
and freeing that area. So
Right.
it's one of those things that, and I don't even know if you could like if you could teach me to rap, I think you'd be amazing. Like I think that you would,
Absolutely. I
yeah,
could.
yeah. If you could
I
teach
could
me
help you.
to do something like that, because I can't even remember song lyrics ever. I could hear the song a million times and I still can't remember the lyric. I remember the theme of the story. That's the way my brain works.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but I've always wanted to. I've been curious about the vocal arts, just to open up that fifth chakra and express. And I think I subconsciously wore my Amy Winehouse eyeliner today for this interview, maybe to take one little baby step at bringing that forth. So, what would you do with someone like me who can't really sing, but is and is terrified of being like singing in public, or
Yeah.
or little sensitive to criticism in that area, and and what would you do with them if they wanted to just get comfortable like expressing themselves? Because obviously I can be on a stage and talk about my passion, which is mind body health, but if you ask me to perform, that's a whole different story. And by the way, I was a band kid too, and I played alto sax and flute, and every time I had to do a solo I would choke, but if I had a duet or a trio, it was no problem. So
Yeah.
there's something there. So what would you do
Right.
with someone like me?
Absolutely. Yeah. Great questions. First, I'll pose a series of questions. First question would be, do you enjoy singing? So, Natasha,
I
do you
enjoy
enjoy singing?
Um, no, I did not enjoy singing until I had babies, now I do because I like to sing to them, and they tolerate me. They both sing better
Oh,
than I do, but
okay.
they tolerate me. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great feedback. So you do enjoy singing now then. So the answer would be
Yeah, no,
yes,
and I
currently. So you
sing in
like
my car type.
you like
Yeah. Hmm.
right, and you like singing to your kid. What other times do you enjoy singing?
Well, it's when the song lyrics really resonate with me, it's helping me express an emotion, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, or I like the rhythm or the beat, or I like
Right.
the melody. Hmm.
Yeah, so cool. No, it would be like in the shower or at home or in your car or just more specifically with your kids or all of the
The
above.
car, the kids, maybe dancing in the living room,
Right. There you
out of the
go.
clothes.
So
Yeah.
you're already doing it. So you're already doing it. It's more about
Uh,
then getting out of your shell as far as performing in front of other people or like singing in front of other people. Right.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would just be more. I would create activities where I will get you more in that flow state of you singing or performing, like that natural feel, like that
Mhm.
you are the state that you're in when you are by yourself or with the kids. I will like just really we'll focus in on that, and then you do more of that, right? Then maybe even have you close your eyes if you were working on like a one-on-one session with me, and then kind
Mhm.
of do different activities where you can kind of get into that and get out of your head because it's all in the head. It's like the programming. What are people thinking? A lot of it's judgment, some trauma may be involved, but it's more of that. It's more like creating habits of flow state and just also pushing you, nudging your edges step by step. And it's also for you, it would be in general, like for you to get out of your comfort zone step by step to get in more in that state. Okay, what feels good? Okay. And then also kind of like look at it. What's making me fearful? Like, dang, like, okay, why am I scared? If I do this, what's gonna be the worst? Like, okay. And even for that, even for people like who are experienced, like even posing those questions to ourselves, like, dang, if I do that and I perform this open mic, what's gonna happen? Okay,
Mhm.
people probably enjoy it, but wait, maybe others are gonna like not like me. Okay, but shit, if I do that, then it's always like the negatives. Like we focus on the negatives. But even when you're talking, you're talking comfortably right now because you've done this many times. You feel
Yeah.
confident enough that nothing's gonna happen. Like, oh, you're gonna do this awesome interview and it's gonna be fun. We're just having fun. So really, I use the fun as the underlying theme or foundation. Really,
Ah.
that anchoring point of what allows us to get in those states. So if you just create fun, and I was telling a client, um, like a mom I was talking to because I'm doing kids coaching, like for the kids coaching, I just want to focus on fun. Like especially for kids, if it's not fun, then kids not his attention, their attention span is so small that they're not going to do it. And that's one thing my
Well,
roommate, who's a vocal coach, was telling me, oh, just make it fun. And it's all about that. Like even
yes,
with
yes.
freestyling. So for example, for me, I used to be more of a writer when I was in high school, writing a lot of raps and poems. But then as far as freestyling and get into like live ciphers or sessions with other people around me, my friends would really like be super more way more comfortable with expressing themselves through freestyle, hey, off the top of their head. Then for me, it would be
Mhm.
like, oh, I need it to be perfect. It needs to sound like my written. So it wasn't until years later that I just allowed myself to flow more because I
Mhm.
just looked at it as being fun. Like, oh, just having fun. I don't care what they think. Yeah, they might think so, but we're just having fun. So if we just get into the fun state, make everything fun, for you or just in general, and that's where we're going to allow ourselves to really grow. And that's where you see all the tools and the techniques and the methods, um, all the advanced techniques, they'll start to develop and grow naturally through the fun. So just having
You
fun, being silly, and just
Yeah, you're speaking my language right now, and it's just with the fun and the playfulness, and that's one of the elements I want to bring into this podcast, this YouTube channel, is because life has gotten, even before when I first started this channel, life was already amping up, ramping up. It was getting hard, more complicated, and I realized that we're heading for a breakdown, and I wanted to have something where we could teach people, and I could have awesome guests such as yourself, where we could teach people how to have fun and have more playfulness and let healing be playful. because that's the way that I work as a therapist. I
Nice.
do a lot of, as you know, hypnosis and meditation and things that are very, very pleasurable, but also healing. And it doesn't have to be so hard. We don't have to make things so hard. So we are absolutely speaking the same language in that way. And something that you said, it was really interesting. Like you were talking about past traumas, or maybe something happened. And as you were talking, I had this flash of, I was probably about 7 years old.
Mhm.
And you know, when you're that age, you love to like record yourself singing. I mean, it was on a tape recorder, but like record yourself singing. And I don't think, well, my dad had a video camera. He was always recording me. So I was always dodging the video camera. I was shy. I didn't want to be on video. And my cousin, who's about a year and a half older than me, has a phenomenally beautiful voice. And so she was always performing and competing. And she went to Interlochen, and you know that, being from Michigan. Um,
Mhm.
and so it was, I just admired her so much. So I
Yeah.
wanted to sing like she was singing. I knew I couldn't
Right.
match her talent, but I wanted to sing like she was singing. And I
Right. Right.
recorded myself. And my dad said, my dad, who's very, very supportive, by the way, he's like my biggest fan, but he's like, oh,
Mhm.
wow. I laughed, and he's like, oh, wow, that's like a horrible, that's, your voice is like horrible. Like he
Mhm.
basically said that,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. Right.
And I was like, ouch. And I don't, it
Mhm.
shouldn't bother, shouldn't bother, but at that young age,
Right.
even one little comment like that, as you
Yeah.
can see, can keep you from even speaking up
Yeah.
for a while. So I probably need to do a little self hypnosis with myself and go
Yeah.
back
Maybe.
and
Right.
remove that,
Yeah.
and then see what
Wow.
happens. But here's the other interesting thing. I've talked to people, particularly, so another one of my specialties is dealing with people who have left narcissists and healing from that narcissistic relationship.
Right. Right.
I've
Right.
talked to people, more than one person, who has said after they left their narcissist, their voice came back and they
Mm.
actually had a beautiful singing voice that was never
Right.
there.
Right.
And
Wow.
they were
Yeah.
finally able to, and that was one of the gifts of
Oh.
actually leaving that toxic, abusive person that would not let them
Right.
speak. And what do narcissists do? They gaslight, they tell you an alternate reality and
Yeah.
keep repeating it over and over and over again. And then your truth
Mm.
completely gets shut down. So
Wow.
your voice gets shut down. So this
Right.
stuff that you're doing, it goes so deep. It really does. And
Yeah.
and again, me as a therapist, I've sort of left the mainstream therapy model behind, but I have all of that knowledge in my head, and I'm more interested in all of these other ways to open up and heal. And
Mhm.
so music and what you're doing is a big part of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. Very. Very important key points that you brought up. You know, I'm no psychologist or therapist, but my understanding, I have done some research and talked to a lot of other friends who are like yourself, you know, hypnotherapists and scientists who study this stuff, and uh, counselors. And what I know is that the first 7 years in a child's life is very it makes an imprint upon the rest of your life
Absolutely.
psychologically, and a lot of the traumas in our past years, especially more specifically as a child, it definitely imprints us. And those one, it could just be one instance. Like, always think of that. You know, it just be one instance that it takes that just really kind of like can shut somebody down. You know, just perfect example. That's actually what I've said that to many other people, and I've heard this. You know, like a kid singing right all the way until he's like 8 years old. He's singing every day, and all of a sudden somebody's like, "Dude, you suck. You sound horrible." Then he
Yeah.
stops singing the rest of his life. Then
Yeah.
he's like 50 years old, and like he doesn't want to sing because he's shy, and he might not even remember that. But unless he digs deep
We
and
could be
somehow
a
finds it. But
dynamic
yeah,
duo. I could do the hypnosis, remove the trauma.
right.
You help with
Wow.
the getting back out
The
there.
methods,
We could
right?
have a whole generation of superstars coming up,
Tag
you and I.
team back again. There you go.
Yeah, but really, the science, you're absolutely correct, and it's like up until age 9, really is when children are in still magical thinking, which is theta brain waves, and
Right,
that's
right.
why they're very imaginative and also very sensitive, as you said, to their environment because they're like sponges. And I
Mm.
noticed when my kids were about 1.5, they already knew how to operate an iPhone. They would grab it out of my
Right.
phone or my hand
Yeah.
and boop 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 just by watching. They
Right,
absorb,
right.
and
They take it all in.
yeah, they take it all in for better or for worse, whatever's in
Right,
the
right.
environment. And so a lot of what I'm doing as a hypnotherapist is I'm undoing some of those early traumas. But the other way to do that is habituation. And so
Right.
you just tell yourself, so that's why affirmations work.
Right,
And
right.
you just do it. And like you said, you get up on stage, you have fun, you just keep doing it. You block
Right, right.
out negative voice, and
Exactly.
eventually you do step into a new reality. So there's two ways to do it, or both. I always say both together
Yeah.
are the best, the most quick and efficient way.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly
Mhm.
what Bruce Lipton said. And it sounds like
Yes.
you're definitely healing on multiple levels, especially the
Yep.
subconscious, which is like a tape recorder that records everything, like you said, whether good and bad. And what he said is
Yes.
there's two ways to really dramatically heal: hypnosis and repetition. And that's
Yep.
what both of us sounds like we're doing with our clients and with these
Well,
methodologies. So
so let's talk about another thing, which is your genre, really now is rap. And one of the reasons I love rap, I think, and you just once you get to a certain age, you notice the patterns of the things that you're drawn to. And I love rap, I love
mhm.
hip hop, I love the rhythm, and that rhythm gets you into sort of a trance state, and
Yeah, and it's
also poetry
mhm.
and lyricism. It really gets you into a trance state. What happens in
Right.
that trance? Healing happens, because that's when
Absolutely.
you become sponge like again, just like that little child
Yeah.
brain. And again, this is why I'm like, love Jay-Z's music, like some of the old stuff. I'm like,
Right.
why? But I still
Yeah.
listen to it. I just have to like do some extra mental shielding
Right.
with some of the
Yeah.
lyrics.
I know what
But
you mean. Yeah.
but it's really it's powerful, that trance state, and that's
Yeah.
why music is used for healing. And so I don't know
Mhm.
if you have anything that you want to speak on with that concept, or what that's been like for you, or some of your clients or people that you've worked with.
Yeah. One thing my father, he told me as a kid growing up, is something along the lines of this. Music goes beyond, surpasses, and transcends language in a way that it brings us all together in kind of a mysterious, amazing, powerful way. It's the most powerful, I think, force on the planet, and it definitely does and can have the ability to put us in a hypnotic state and makes things very fun. You could even have a song that's, you hear it all the time, like negative songs talking about, you know, selling drugs or smacking bees and this and that. But it's like, if you put it to a fun beat, it's like, oh, it makes it fun. So just in
Mm-hmm.
general with the music itself, that musical component, it just, ooh, like the drum beat with the bass and all those different components and layers, it's like, oh, it's like gets us in the groove. Then you add words
Yeah.
on top of that. Then you're like feeding the conscious and then also the conscious, so multiple levels. So a lot of times we're like feeling it. We don't even know why we feel it. Like, oh, it feels good. Then you got
Yeah.
like the feeling and then also the logical side. It's like, oh, damn, you got a message to that. Oh, and that's the things that I play off of and really create different, playing with the frequency. How's it feel? And also like implementing a message to bring us together. I want to bring people up rather than down with my
Yeah.
coaching and the music I produce and create. So yeah, in general, music is a definitely a powerful tool. So yeah,
And
healing indeed.
yeah. And I love that. I love that empowerment. And as I was listening to you speak about the way that music really penetrates us, I wonder your thoughts about music and memory, like helping you remember things too, because I have a terrible memory, and I think part of it is because I've had a lot of childhood trauma, and I know it kind of zaps your memory centers for good reason. It's protective, it
Hmm.
helps you not remember the things you don't want to remember.
Right, right.
that's one of the side effects is even though I've dealt with the trauma, like my memory still seems to
Hmm.
be bad.
Yeah.
And when I was young, I was kind of a church nerd as well. I used to go to church with my best friend and neighbor, and her mom was the choir director, and her dad was the assistant, preacher, and
Hmm.
so we would compete. Get this, in these competitions. This is northern Wisconsin for you, to recite Bible
Oh yeah,
verses.
yeah, right.
And so when so I couldn't remember him, but her mom being a piano teacher, we would go to her house and we would write our own music, like on the piano. We would write a jingle to the verse so that we would remember
Hmm.
the Bible verse. And
Right.
then we could go compete as a team and we killed it. Like we were boom boom,
Yeah.
like
There you
we
go.
were the Bible
That's
verse
dope.
champions. For someone
So
who doesn't
wow.
remember anything,
Yeah, awesome. So it sounds like once you added the rhyming component, then that's when you're able to memorize it and win, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was the
the
music. It
jingle.
wasn't even rhyming really, because the verses didn't.
Mhm.
Well, sometimes we would try to make them
Oh, okay.
rhyme,
It was the
but
music,
it was the melody and the music
the
that we
melody.
created on the piano to
Oh
go
yeah.
along with it. And then
Ah, nice.
the rhythm would say it.
Yeah.
We would say it to them, and so it got stuck in
Hmm.
my brain. And probably if somebody put me under hypnosis, they could recall some of those Bible verses, or maybe
Yeah.
those. Maybe those, I mean, they pick the good ones, the good Bible verses,
Hmm.
so they're probably, in there still operating and,
Yeah.
making me a moral person or whatever
Right. Right.
else at the
Right.
point.
Yeah.
They're they're in there, they're planted.
Yeah.
But so I mean, a
I
lot of
see.
people are at home homeschooling right now, and everybody's
Hmm.
trying to learn how to be a teacher. And I just think that it opens up a space for these alternate ways of learning. Like
Yeah.
imagine a child wakes up, they get to sleep in until they're actually rested, and then
Hmm.
maybe they do period one, which is some rap coaching, and they
Yeah.
memorize historical facts through music.
Through music,
Imagine
right?
a world that way. Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't that be so much more fun than
for sure.
reading a history book? I mean, can we do that?
Yeah.
Is this
It
can we
We can. There's people doing it already. I mean, it's been proven. Studies have shown that, like, when with melody and rhyming, together with music, when you make like historical facts or study science equations, then all of a sudden you add like melody and rhyming to it, and kids memorize it a lot easier. Just like
Mm.
I even still remember stuff to this day. I'm about to be 38. I learned this when I was, I think, 10 or 9. 30 days, half September, April, June, and November. All the rest of 31 except February, which has 28 and 20, sometimes 29. It just has like a melody, and at the beginning of that, it rhymes, right? And then
Uh-huh.
roses are red, violets are blue, something, something, so are you. Or Batman, or Jingle Bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg, Batmobile,
Oh,
Blossomville, looking
yeah.
right away. So it has rhyming words and also has melody. Do 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 do,
Yep.
egg, away, smells, bells. So yeah, it's like I said, it's been proven, and I see it today. I mean, kids, they can memorize songs, but they can't memorize equations a lot of times. Not all the times, but
Mhm.
perfect example of what we're speaking about. So that's the
Yeah.
power of music, melody, and catchiness, and
Yep.
allowing it to be, you know, allowing us to memorize it. So that does all help memory. So yeah.
Awesome. So I wanted to ask you, because why not? Let's dream big here and just
Bring it
have
on.
bring in fun. You
Yeah.
said that your work is really empowering, and you really want to empower and uplift, and I've seen that in every experience that I've had of you. And what would be your ultimate dream? Like, what are you, because we're here right now with our lives under the microscope, right? All of us are like really taking a deep dive microscopic look at all of the things in our life. What's sustainable, what's not sustainable, what's worth taking a risk for, because everybody's lost a lot right now, or not everybody, but a lot of people have lost a lot. But what are we gaining? So if what's your dream in, say, like 5-10 years, where do you see yourself? Where would you like to see yourself? What is your purpose on the planet?
Right.
What is
Yeah.
Kiyoshi?
Great question. Yes, I definitely have a grand vision I know my purpose is to inspire the masses through music and my creative expression. To also be that example so that others are inspired and also are expanding their self-creation, self-creativity and expansion as well through the arts, and in
Mm-hmm.
life and with community. My intention is also to align with different charities, potentially create a wellness center, really, yeah, like bring about, like reduce, like uh, just yeah, everything I just said, and
Uh-huh.
then I want to like just eliminate like homelessness and like give a lot of people in third world countries shelter. So maybe creating a charity or a wellness center that does that, or maybe having multiple wellness centers, and also being a influential figure where my platform is expanded to the level where I'm performing in different countries of the world with my amazing inspirational music and doing that, and also teaching workshops and coaching others on how to do this.
Yeah.
Groups of people going into schools and corporations and really giving keynote concerts where I'm speaking and also performing at the end, really helping others to just really step into their fullest potential in general, while at the same time bringing health and wellness to the forefront and really eliminating homelessness and, helping with climate change and environmental issues that are
Yeah.
drastically impacting us. It's really being a good citizen of the world. And yeah, through that, through my arts, coaching, and music.
And yeah, and I see you live in that. I see you embodying that. I know you're into all the health things, and you do the yoga, and you I've seen you out and about living the life, and um and all those values. You're Aquarius, aren't you?
I'm a
Are you an
Gemini,
Aquarius?
double
I thought
Gemini.
you were Aquarius. Ah, you're
Nah,
double Gemini. Oh my
I get
gosh.
along with Derek Aquariuses though, because I'm a Gemini,
Okay, I
air
for some
sign.
reason I thought you were an Aquarius, but those are very Aquarius values, right? The equality and making sure that people have what they need, and
Right.
ultimately that my big why has always been to create a more it's very simple, but create a more healthy, loving planet, so that sort of we're all kind of living in this unconditional love vibration. And I've sort of refined that now. My big hope after this pandemic or whatever we're dealing with is over is that there is some sense of universal abundance, in that same way that we don't have to have people going without food or shelter or
Right, right.
love. I just feels like if you're a human being on the planet, there's enough. There's enough. You're enough. There's enough for everyone. And how do we? And it's so interesting now with like the hoarding that's happening. That's
Right,
the
right. Yeah.
thing. Go to the stores and there's absolutely no toilet paper, no paper towels still. And now I wonder if the people that didn't hoard before are hoarding now because of the hoarders. So they're like, I have to stock
Mm,
up because the true hoarders are going to, keep taking the toilet paper. But it really, again, puts a microscope on this internal, what is this thing that makes you want to go off and take all the things, and to the
right.
extent that
Yeah.
people, so many don't have,
Yeah,
what,
totally.
because you're afraid, but actually you're drowning in excess. And it's interesting, and I feel like this, I wish the scales could balance a little
Right.
bit more. It needs to the yin and the yang, if
Yeah.
you believe it, if you've studied tantra or
Right. I get it.
the Tao. Yeah,
Hmm.
seems like it needs to
Exactly.
balance.
Yeah, I think we're moving towards that. I think this is really, I think this is actually coronavirus and quarantining and all these shifts and changes on multiple levels is really ultimately moving us toward that direction where we are balancing ourselves out in the bigger picture.
Hmm.
That's what it feels like, just because things have to freaking shake up, and with Trump in office, even so, I mean, there's so many things that are happening, but what's happening is that is also bringing a lot of that um, the dirt that's been under the surface to be kind of shaken up and brought to our attention. Now we're seeing like the true colors of everybody,
Oh,
and
yes.
in the political arena, in the financial arena, socially, on all different levels of humanity. It's like, oh shit, that's happening. What, he's doing that? Oh, she's like, okay, I see. Now we're like, that's forcing all these, peace warriors and all these people from all different sectors of life to come together, unite, and create. Okay, we got to like start a new organization. We got to do this. Now we got to help these people out because I didn't know they needed help. So it's really shifting in that way. It's like, oh, we're making change. It's like revolutionizing on that major degree. Whereas if we had things just kind of stay the same, all that dirt would have been stuck and left down there, and then we still would have been walking on shit, but not knowing that we're walking on shit. Now we got the
100%.
shit out, and like we can clean. Okay, we got to clean that out so we can truly be clean and balance ourselves out. So,
And
uh,
I think that's
yeah,
why I've been very optimistic through this whole thing. First of all, I'm an introvert, so it's not hard for me to kind of stay at
right,
home even more. Like it's
yeah, yeah. I'm
life
the average
is
person.
slowed down. Yeah, life is slowed
Yeah,
down. So it's just a nice little pause for me. I've had a very hectic and busy life for a long time, and now I have time to get back on YouTube and to do these bedtime meditations that I've been doing on IG Live every Tuesday, Friday night, and it's been fun to have time to do those things. But I was aware of problems. I could see something building before, and now the dam has begun to burst. And like you said, um, people are showing who they really are. Corporations are showing who they really are, right? Like we're noticing what corporations are not like giving their people safety precautions, or for a freaking minimum wage job. People are putting themselves at risk just for that minimum wage or whatever, or not giving sick time, or not closing, even though everybody else is doing their part and following the regulations. Who are the people who are still having social visits, or saying, oh, stay at home orders, that doesn't apply to me, or oh, that doesn't count for sex, or like whatever
yeah,
else. It's interesting to see who is concerned for the other, and who's compassionate for the other, and whether or not you believe that you are going to get the virus or contagious or whatever else. I'm staying home out of respect for the folks that lost their income. I mean, this has had a huge impact, and if it went there, we might as well honor the process and get through it as quick as possible,
yeah,
right? And so
totally.
it's interesting. And then you put so much stress and pressure on people, and you see like how do they respond to that? Does their worst side come out, or does their best side come out? So it's really been a great discernment I've noticed, just
Yeah,
people in my personal life, people I do business with, other global businesses. I'm noticing all of it. And to end on a bit of a positive note, as you were referring to too, I've been enjoying the creativity of people stepping up and creating new offerings. And there are so many awesome like fitness classes on
yeah,
Instagram Live right now and Facebook Live, and people
right,
just like
right,
adapting, and it's fun. It's like I'm really enjoying those aspects of it. And
totally.
yeah, so I hope
Yeah.
I hope it continues. I hope we hang on to, some of the positive things that are
Oh
coming out
yeah,
of it when life kind of picks up pace again.
absolutely. I totally agree. Yeah, this is like allowing all of us, it's a global community, and a lot of my friends personally, to really think creatively. Okay, now what can we do? All right, my business is suffering in real life. How can I translate that into an online atmosphere where I can still capture potential clients and keep this going and thriving online? Um, so yeah, we're a lot of Zoom calls. I mean, I'm catching up with people that I haven't seen in years. I was a part of an entrepreneurial rap battle yesterday. Then I'm
Oh,
seeing
nice.
my friends I haven't seen. Like we're just, you know,
Mhm.
making cool creative projects. And I mean, yeah, I've been so busy doing these creative Zoom calls and like online birthday calls with people from all over the world. And yeah, it's been amazing. Like I actually, or definitely, I've been creative and doing a lot of art. So in the artistic way, and kind of, uh, yeah, and as far as the arts, it's like allowing people to really, yeah, think creatively and do different things. So I agree with you. Yeah, just hopefully this keeps going, persisting once this Corona dies off. We can keep a
Yeah.
lot of this alive.
And that reminds me, I have two more questions for you before we wrap up today. And
Sure.
having to do with the arts for sure. I also can't help but notice that you've got some pretty sweet dance moves. So tell me a
You
little
noticed that?
tell me a little bit about that, and how do you I mean, I think the last time I saw your full display was probably at the Belly Up. You were part of a fundraiser for the Sean O'Shea Foundation, I think, which I
Yeah.
used to be on the board of directors for that
Right.
organization years ago. So I had
Awesome.
gone to the fundraiser, and I was like, "Oh, hey, there's Kiyoshi," and yeah, you guys are all choreographed and everything. So you do your own choreography.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, that
learn to
was
dance.
well, I grew up, listening to 90s R&B. I love that,
Mm.
like the yeah, like all the R&B groups, a lot of seeing them dance and do a choreography. Even like Big Daddy Kane as a rapper, he did some choreography. He was one of the few. But then you had Heavy D, and you had other rappers more so back in the day doing that. So I kind of grew up as a kid watching like people do choreography, and
Mhm.
I had a song called Medicine that I wanted to do some choreography with because it has the 90s feel. So I came up with something, and then I met a buddy of mine who, at the time he was a stranger, but then I connected to him through my friend Melvin, who I knew from the dance scene. And he connected me with Julio, and me and Julio, or Body Rock, kind of came up with some choreography for that me, Julio, and Melvin did. So now Melvin and Julio are like my good friends, and like my main dancers whenever we perform or whenever I have like main shows. I just call them up, and yeah, I
Mhm.
wanted to add that choreography '90s feel to accompany the feel of the track, And then
Mhm.
from there, it's like, yo, make some more choreography. And also, since I moved to California since 2011, I got more into the hippie scenes, like these free flow ecstatic dance communities, and it's been
Mhm.
super awesome and very nourishing to my self creative expression, just to
Mhm.
like get more into my body and more into
Mhm.
what I feel and what how my body wants to move. Yoga really helped that too. um,
Mhm.
and I started yoga a little bit in Michigan, but really in 2012 I started getting into yoga. And then yeah, talk about self expression is like joining, like becoming friends with people and joining groups and workshops where people are not judging as much, and creates an atmosphere of like, okay, what do you feel? It's about the feeling, it's about the groove. Okay, now we're going to help you get into that groove by doing certain things, and they might ask a question. Okay, now pretend you're this. So I actually, really, this is like really helped me move forward in my just performing and as a person, in life.
Mhm.
um, these hippie communities and just this free self-expression, right? Because if you go to a normal club, right, in downtown or anywhere in the nation, right, what's happened a lot of times is that if people are playing music, it's early in the night, then you have a weirdo who's in the middle of the dance floor. He may or may not be drunk, or he could be sober, right? He's just
Mhm.
doing dance moves and he's just looking weird, right? A lot of people are sitting on their wall, drinking their drink, judging this guy or girl, whoever. Like, what are they doing? What do they think they're doing? Yeah, they look like they're having fun. It looks kind of fun. In the back of their head, they're thinking like, I want to do that, but no, I'm gonna get judged. People are gonna look at me like, what is he doing? And if they were to do that by themselves, they wouldn't do it a lot of times.
Mhm.
But then you get one more person. Oh, that looks fun. Then three more people. Then seven more people. Okay, there's enough people. Maybe I can go in there. Then you have a whole crowd of people, and then it's like, okay, now I get in, right? Well, these self-express like ecstatic dance communities um, that I've been a part of in California and around the festival scene have really
Mhm.
nurtured that um, self-expression and how you really want to move, right? Because it gets you out of that. Okay, what are people thinking? Now it's like I'm going to dance how I want to dance because it feels good. gets you into that
Mhm.
childlike state, right? When you look at little kids, they're just like, I don't care, I'm just dancing because it feels good. But then they get older, somebody might say, you look stupid, and then stop. Same thing you said with as far as vocally. I'm not gonna start singing.
Mhm.
I'm gonna stop singing. I see this with kids, I've done a lot of work with little kids, and 5 years old, 6 years old, they're dancing, singing, and like, I like that song. And then they get about like 8 years old, and one kid could be like, "Oh, I like that song," and the other kid's like, "That song sucks." And then that same kid was like, "Yeah, I don't like that song because the other
Yeah.
kid said it sucked." I've seen this
Mhm.
literally happen so many times, and so you get into this. I have to be cool. I have to look a certain way, but doing all these anyway, I know I'm like
No,
giving you more than what you
it's
asked, but
interesting
it's
because
really
the yeah, what you're
yeah,
I'm thinking about it, from a woman's point of view and like my
yeah,
experiences growing up and myself and I used to be afraid to move my body too. I did not
mhm,
like my body being judged or
right,
like looked at, so I just didn't move. I felt
oh, okay,
uncomfortable in my body.
right,
Some of that I had a history of sexual abuse, but I think
mhm,
more is that as women we're so harshly judged for our appearance
right, yeah,
and
yeah,
especially like our bodies and our looks and how we should carry ourselves or not carry ourselves. And as a woman,
mhm,
there's this phrase, "You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't," which is
right. I've heard,
talks about
yeah,
like that small little box of being accepted that you have. It's like you
yeah,
can't be
right,
prudent, you can't be too,
yeah,
you can't
mhm,
be too quiet, you can't be too loud either. Like it's you can't, you should be humble. You can't talk about yourself or promote your business too much, or you're arrogant or what. It's like
right,
this
yeah,
sliver that every woman is trying to figure out how you can, get that acceptance. But I think it
mm,
it relates to the body too. And I abandoned that a long time ago because of my love of music and just loving to move. And when I was in college, again, northern Wisconsin, there was a free beer for ladies every Wednesday night, and it was at the one place that had a dance floor. It was a small town, and so that was the thing. Everybody was there on a Wednesday night,
yeah,
right? And
okay, right,
while I was like, "Am I an alcoholic?" And
mhm,
then I realized, no, it's actually I love to dance. It's the
yeah,
dance. It gets me
right,
there, and we would get there and we would drink, our fill of beer or whatever while it was free, and then the rest of the night was just dancing until we were dripping sweat, and it
mm,
was so much fun. And I love that. But like you're saying, in a club it's a little bit different environment. And
yeah,
especially for women, it only takes us a couple minutes on the dance floor before somebody's hand or pelvis is where we don't want it to
yeah,
be, or you're having to fight that off.
yeah,
So I
mhm,
love these safe spaces too, and to be able
yeah,
to just flow without
right,
having
right,
and or hands on or whatever else, and you can really just open up your
yeah,
body and go with it.
totally, yeah, and it's about definitely for thanks for bringing that up. That's very yeah, totally relevant for sure for a lot of I say most women, almost all women, especially going out. You
Oh,
do gotta watch over those creepers, right? I've seen it happen for sure. But yeah, with the ecstatic dance movements and the different, more of the hippie vibes, a lot of times there's in general more safer communities, safer spaces
mhm,
in general.
mhm.
Not all the time, but you know what I'm saying. When people can create that safe space, I mean, there
Yeah,
may even be clubs or just in general, like places that there is a safe space created, then people are definitely more apt to let go, right? I know I was talking to
yep,
some friends yesterday, particularly about gay clubs and how when I was in my early 20s, I found out they were actually, for me, they were a lot of super fun because a lot of
mhm.
the women would have like their guards down because
Oh yeah,
less of the guys that would creep on. It was more of a safe space in general, from what I heard and what I've kind of seen. Um,
oh yeah,
so yeah, going back to what we were saying as far as creating a safe space, um, yeah, when that is container is safe, then leaves room
not,
for more
not
self-expression.
not only are they not you're not getting grabbed as much in the gay clubs, but they also compliment your makeup all the time in
Yeah,
your
there you
hair.
go. All right, little girl.
So that's like,
Let me
yeah,
get some of that.
that's like
Yeah,
a hetero, or any kind of woman's, dream is to go there and just
right, right.
these nice compliments,
Yeah,
and they
compliments
smell
and say,
nice, and they're
yeah,
hygiene, and I get to
right.
dance. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
but yeah, it's a very cool way to express it. I'm sure you're still dancing even in your house and your living room. I know I am. My kids and I
Yeah,
are. We're still having dance parties, and I just did a workshop last night where we did a movement technique to kind of help shake off stress. So that is a big way
nice.
to let emotions flow through your body. And again, it's tied into music. It's tied into healing. Dance and music. And I know that you have to go soon, but I was curious, and you don't feel pressured to say yes if you wanted to showcase a little bit of your freestyling or your rap, or maybe a new song that you've been working on, or anything like that. You don't have to say yes, but since we're
Sure.
talking about fun and playfulness.
I'm having fun. Yeah, I can demonstrate that.
Okay.
Would you? Yeah. So let's see. I can do it a cappella. I'll just do it a cappella.
Okay.
Yes. You see, behind me, I'm chilling in the islands, freestyling in the Bahamas. This is how Kiyoshi does with the hot mama known as Natasha, last name Edwina. You might even think I'm chilling in Costa Rica because I see you through the screen, but I'm just speaking because I'm a speaker slash healer slash teacher and leader. You can even turn up the speakers if you want to hear me louder. I'm getting really hungry. I might need some clam chowder, but I haven't ate that since many years ago. About 10 minutes, I gotta go because I gotta get up on the next call and get some more rap coaching. Because you know that I'll be not boasting, but I'll be floating in the celestial skies. Because earlier, you remember I was in outer space. You remember the times like the song by Michael Jackson. I'm gonna tell you just why, because I'm blasting and I'm clapping like what I do with my hands when I'm feeling so abnormally cool, because I'm going to tell you how we used to do back in the day, like the old school, when we listened to the Juice Crew, Run DMC. Now, you know that Kiyoshi will speak and then leave you like in a state of awe. Stay applauding you while you stay crawling like a baby. Sometimes I go crazy, like I got cocaine in my veins, but we are just chilling in this interview. It's a little past noon now. I just want to snooze like my alarm and drop bombs really calmly, chilling in my Bahamas seat as I'm just relaxing, climaxing, just activating and thinking of letting time pass when we are doing this interview.
Awesome. I wish I had your talent. Maybe you can teach me. We definitely have to get together again and talk about that, because
Yeah,
it is fun. And I love how
yeah.
you mentioned all the countries that I've visited. So I was just waiting for
Oh,
you to put
sweet.
Belize in there. So you're also
Please.
my dream.
There you go. I was channeling
You
you.
were telling. You were telling my
Yeah,
favorite
connecting.
spots.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kiyoshi. It was really a pleasure. I know we've been talking about doing this for a little while, so it was really great to connect. And under the stars, like you said, you had your when we
Yeah.
first popped
Right.
on, you were in the outer space, and I was trying to join you
Yeah.
there, but here we are now. And
Back again.
back
Floating
again.
now. I
I
see
love
you
it.
down below. I see you there. See you on
Yeah.
Earth.
Yep. Keep doing the good work to protect and elevate the planet. I
Yes, yes.
so appreciate your contributions and stepping up as a leader, and just really putting your gifts and talents out there and inspiring people, inspiring us, inspiring me. And thank you so much.
Very welcome. Thank you, Natasha. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure and honor, and
Oh,
yeah, a lot of
by the
fun.
way, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me across the platforms on looking up Kiyoshi Music. On Spotify, it's Kiyoshi, Kiyosshi. If you look on Instagram, I will soon be on TikTok. I hear that's the new platform to be on. But it's
Oh
across
yeah.
the board, KiyoshiMusic.com, or hashtag or @ Kiyoshi Music. Once again, that's Kiyosshi Music. KiyoshiMusic. So hit me up if you want any rap coaching, if you want to hear some awesome inspirational music, bring me out to your school, corporation, or event, festival, etc. I would love to spread the love. So thanks again, Natasha. Woo-woo.
Yeah, and I would love to support you. So when you know what your next gig is, either online, live online, or
Yeah,
when we get to fly out of the cage,
yeah.
let me know. I would love to share that as
Absolutely.
well.
I'm actually doing at 6:30. Me and some entrepreneurial hip hop homies from all across the globe are doing a online hip hop cipher. We're all like performing pieces at 6:30 today. It'll be on Zoom, of course. I can
Uh-huh.
send you that link. So if you'd be interested, check that
Yeah.
out. It'd be fun. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
It's live, or there's going to be a
Uh,
recording?
it it will be live 6:30, so 5 hours from
Oh,
now. Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Cool. And
And
when's your next? Oh, go ahead.
oh, well, I have a hypnosis client at 7, but I might be able to tune in for a little bit if that's appropriate. I
Okay.
don't know if yeah.
Yeah.
Um, my next thing is I'm doing bedtime meditations every Tuesday and Friday at 9 p.m. on Instagram Live. So if
Mm.
anybody wants to get in the zone, again, that's my vocal talent is
Yeah. There you
putting.
go. Yay.
So I help you with breath and relaxing your body and dissolving anxiety and stress and worry and just slipping into the most beautiful dreams possible that help you recreate your new world and your new life. So I've been having
Nice.
a lot of fun doing that, and I've been wanting to. I know that you're connecting with Kirti and Shofar with the hip hop kundalini, which I've been
Yeah.
wanting to freaking go to that for like 3 years. And then she did something online and I couldn't find the link. I couldn't get on. And I'm like itching to do that too.
Yes.
And
Hip.
so that's are you
Yes.
doing live like your
Yes.
friends doing
Absolutely.
that and then she's leading the movement, the kundalini.
Yes, yes, yes. So it's four of us. Big ups to my hip hop Kundalini crew, Shofar, Kirti, and my man Soul. It's four of us facilitating and leading people through a transformational experience, combining breath work, energy healing, writing, journaling, sharing, and vocally expressing through freestyle and group support in a safe container. It's really moving and awesome and special. So that'll be, we're going to have let me see. Let me look at my dates real quick. I think it's April. I'm sorry, May 3rd. I think it'll be some point in the afternoon. Yeah, Sunday, May 3rd. Then we're also going to do a free
Mm-hmm.
webinar at some point, and then we're also going to
Ah,
do we're actually creating a online course that people can subscribe to.
nice.
So it'll be
Oh,
awesome.
that's
But yeah,
beautiful.
you
Well, count
definitely
me
want to.
into that. Sure.
Excuse me.
Count me into that
Yeah,
for sure.
you
You
would
know,
love it. It's been amazing.
My PhD dissertation is on basically Kundalini and my own
Oh, nice.
Kundalini awakening experience. So I'm
Cool.
definitely the experiential practices and learnings of that. So I've been wanting, that combined with hip hop. I'm like, I'm in. I've been
Yeah.
trying to trying to connect
Cool.
with you in that workshop for a while. So definitely count.
Yeah.
I will
That
share that too. So be sure to send
awesome.
me when everything is hammered down.
Yes. Absolutely. I'll definitely send you information. Would love to have you there. Would love to support you. And yeah, it's been super fun. So thanks
Yeah,
again,
thank you.
Natasha.
All
Yeah.
right. Enjoy the rest of your day. And
Yes,
I'll see you
indeed. You as well with me in touch. Peace out.